Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk about the Midori MD Notebook Blank Paper. From what I can find, I've been told it's about 90 grams a page. It does skew warm. It's a warm yellow compared to stark white paper. So there's that. It's very smooth. It also comes in lined. It also comes in grids, but it's a very thin paper. Now I'm going to be using this for sketch timber, not this one that's coming. But I wanted to see how it held up to other pens, because so far I've only used Micron and Pilot pens on this. And though there's ghosting because the page is thin, there wasn't any bleeding. So I'm going to run through all the different pens I tried and how I tried them, and then we can look and see which ones, all of them are going to ghost. And you're like, why would you buy this notebook? Why would you like this paper? I will tell you why. Because it's not just smooth, it's soft. And when you glide a fine liner pen on really soft paper, oh, it's so nice. I can't explain it. It's so nice. Plus, pencil's great for everything. So when I bought this, I was like, ooh, I'm never buying one of these ever again. It's way too thin. And then the more I started working in it and doing projects with it, I was like, wow, this is really high quality paper, even though it's on the thinner side. Again, this is one of those, is it better? Is it preference? A lot of people like this paper. A lot of people hate this paper. So I would say read reviews. Maybe they make a little tiny like pocket sketchbook that's like part blank paper, part lined. I'll link that below if you want to just try a sample of it, because it's very strange. Like, the paper is unbelievable. So I'm going to show you what pens I tried, and then I'm going to flip over and show you how each pen performed. So the first pen I tried is the Faber-Castell, their 0.7 fine liner. The second one is the Zig drawing, the Zig Kuretake drawing in 08 fine liner. The third one is the fine liner graphics pen. It's a brush pen. The fourth is a Micron 05 in purple. This one, I apologize. I know it's a zebra. I know I got it from Jet Pens. I'll link it down below if I could figure out which zebra it is. I think it's one of the finer tipped ones. I did a Jelly Roll in 08 that's blue. I did a Jelly Roll metallic because I believe that there's something else in the ink that makes it kind of oily. So this is the Burgundy with Silver Sparkle metallic. I did the Copic multi-liner 05 in lavender. I have a Sarasa in copper. It's the only copper ink I own, so I'm not sure about that company. I did the Pigma BB brush pen. I'll angle that a little bit higher so you can see. I did the Uniball Signo in gold. I did the Tombow dual brush in 676, which is a nice purple. I hope you can see that. I did a Pilot G2 in purple. I have like the world's oldest Pentel color, I don't know what this, fine point pen. This may not exist anymore, I'm not sure, but I tried it. Here is the Zig Wink of Stella, and you're like, what is that? This is a drawing fine liner ink that has like glitter bits in it. So that's what that is. Here's the Kuretake Zig Fudabiori. I tried that one. And not to be outdone, the Zig Fudabiori, that's metallic and green. Because again, I think metallics perform differently on paper. Here's my Pentel Feud that I've been using a lot as of late. That just is a nice brush ink. The classic quintessential Sharpie. This is a ultrafine. Here is a Posca for my Posca lovers. This one is the pin tip and 0.7. This is the smallest tip you can get for a Posca. And then, because I know you're curious, here is the Posca pen tip metallic. Here's gold. So I have that one as well. And then I did try, I know a lot of people love alcohol markers, so here's my Copic Chow. This is Gray Green BG93. So that's one I tried. And then I did a couple inks. So I grabbed my, boy, and I don't even know where it is. I have a little speedball handle, and I just threw a little nib on it, and it's super budget. But I tried the Winsor Newton, has these little teeny tiny inks, and this one's cobalt. So here's the Winsor Newton right here. And then Platinum makes a carbon ink, and here it is right here with a nib. So now when I flip the page, we are going to look and see what leaked through, because when I did this challenge here, let me show you. When I did this challenge, I wrote everything out. I did 1 stroke, 2 overlapping, 3, and then went bananas. So as you can see, when we start at the top, up till 3, there was no bleeding for the Faber-Castell 0.7. The Kuretake drawing pen, the Zig, no bleeding at all. The Graphics fine liner, no bleeding and no tearing, just ghosting. There's gonna be ghosting with all these. The Micron, no bleeding with 3 strokes, but once we hit 4, it does start to bleed. Here's the Zebra, again, nothing through 3 overlapping strokes, but when I went crazy, it started to bleed. Gel Roll performed the exact same way. Just ghosting and no bleeding until I went crazy. The 3 overlapping strokes is fine. The Metallic started to bleed at all the overlapping strokes. 3 is still fine. This one is the Copic Multiliner, and you can see 3 overlapping strokes, just ghosting. And then once I did 5 or 6 strokes, it started to bleed. Here is that Saska copper pen, and I don't even see any bleeding at all, the Sarasa. So it looks like at about 7 strokes, it's still a little okay. This is the Pigma BB, all ghosting, no bleeding. Here is the Uniball Signo in gold. And you can see 3 overlapping strokes. There is no bleeding, but once I did 7, it started to bleed. The Tombow, the purple Tombow in 676, 3 overlapping strokes is fine, but once I went crazy, it started to bleed. So here is the Pilot G2 in purple, and 3 is fine. Going crazy, it starts to bleed a little bit. Here is my Pentel that I'm not sure even exists anymore because it's old. And 3, there's a lot of ghosting, and then at 6 or 7 strokes, it bleeds through. The Zig Wink of Stella barely starts to bleed at 7 strokes. Here is the Zig Fudabiori regular, barely starts to bleed at 7 strokes. And then here is the Metallic. There is no bleeding and barely any ghosting. Here's my Pentel Feud. There is no bleeding, which is very surprising to me because this is such a loose ink. And you can use this dryer, but just ghosting, no bleeding. Sharpie, 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3, crazy. Can you see that? Sorry. All the Sharpie bled through. Here was the Pentel Feud, just in case you couldn't see that, or the Metallic Fudabiori, there's nothing there. So Sharpie obviously goes through everything. Posca, here is the Posca. You can't see it, it's not bleeding. There's ghosting with the green Posca and the pin at 7 strokes, but there's no bleeding. Here is the gold metallic, and I'm going to tell you right now, you probably aren't going to be able to see that, but at 7 strokes there is the faintest slight of bleeding through with the gold. And Copic, we're familiar, Copic bleeds through everything. And these are the Winsor Newton Cobalt. Did not bleed through at 7 strokes. And the carbon, the platinum carbon, did not bleed through. I can tell you with the nib though, you're going to chew up this paper. So I put a background paper underneath it, and it looks like the only things that bled through were the Sharpie, the Tombow, and the Copic. So that is how this paper handles pen and ink. For the most part, you can pretty much go over each line you've drawn 3 times without it bleeding. There will be ghosting, and because of that you may not want to use the opposing page, but if you do, know that a lot of pens work really, really well with this. Copic's always a tricky one. It's just like that with alcohol markers. There is an ambulance coming, so I'm gonna say goodbye now. I hope everyone has a great day. I hope this helped, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.